Keyblade!
There we go. I think I'm good. I'm gonna boost my volume a little bit. Okay. And is my overlay not working? Hold on. I need to check something on Streamlabs. Hello? Wrong button. And will this? Streamlabs hates me. That's what this is. Okay, it's fun. Okay, I am pulling up my chat on my phone today. How do I turn off the video? Because my stupid Streamlabs doesn't want to help me out. Chat only. Okay, there we go. Oh, hey, Tay! Welcome! Yeah, I've been a huge Ace Attorney fan since I was a kid. Also, let me know how the audio and video is, if there's any lag or anything. Hey! New game. Oh, right, anime. Okay, good.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great...
Oh yeah, I figured that might happen. Tay. Drama.
But for one man, the turbulence was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
No game audio? There should be. There's definitely audio right now in the game. Okay, let me try boosting it. Oh, thank you for the follow! Okay, there's nothing playing right now, but was it getting louder? Hey, clone! Welcome! We've got a lot of people here today. Okay, you could hear that typing better. Okay. Okay, cool. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer! Sorry. I wonder how many Ace Attorney games start with you being falsely accused? Because Phoenix gets falsely accused all the time. My name is Yunosuke Naruhodo. Oh. Right, because he's like related to Phoenix. Phoenix writes name in, well, I guess his last name is Naruhodo, which means I see. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. I need a voice for him. What kind of voice do I do for him? And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities! Look at you! You haven't even graduated yet! And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. The 3D in this game is... well, okay. I guess that makes sense, because I played Ace Attorney 5 on my phone, but the 3D looks better. It looks nice. I like... Right. Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course! Sorry! What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Ha ha ha! There you go again, apologizing! Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! Should I give this guy... The one voice I can do, right? The one voice I can do is like a shonen protagonist voice, right? And he kinda is. But it'll hurt my throat if I do it for the whole game. I'll just do it till my throat hurts. Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... Emmy? I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asugi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. I'm trying to find a middle ground that isn't gonna destroy my throat. 'Cause I could do it like this! But that hurts my throat. Because there's my Ash Ketchum impression that's like, alright, Pikachu! Which is a throat killer. I can only do it for a few minutes. But, so I'm gonna try to go in a middle ground for Ryunosuke. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old here in Japan, anyway. Right. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said the exact same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last! I know! I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world! I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend! It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean, to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire?! I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. I guess this is where this is how Sherlock Holmes, or I think he's Herlock Sholmes in this game, but I guess that's how he exists. If they go to England.
If only it were that simple.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going.
All right, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay out here and enjoy this place a while longer.
Wow, good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. The Great Ace Attorney, the one I'm playing now, is, like, not a prequel. It takes place many years in the past. Ryunosuke, the protagonist, is, like, Phoenix Wright's, like, great-great-great-grandfather or something stupid like that. Also, I just realized I forgot to record. I'll just download it. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner.
It was straight after that. That's when it happened.
So I don't. It shouldn't rely on any future games, but it should. It might have references to them. I'll probably point them out, but it's also been a while since I've played them. I also never played Spirit of Justice. I might stream that sometime. Asugi, may I have a word? Who is it? These people.
Professor! I didn't know you were coming! Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now, Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers.
To His Excellency's chambers? Why?
He was looking for you before.
You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision.
It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result.
Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before.
I see. I'll go at once then.
I shall accompany you.
What's that expression? Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom.
Yes. Thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward.
If I may.
Yes, sorry?
You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I am a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University.
Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma's studying abroad.
Asugi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. Hi, Quartz. How's your fish soup? As such, I feel you should know.
Know what?
Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asugi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. It's fine. Well, that's okay, but you gotta eat your fish soup.
What?
As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asugi may have chosen not to tell you.
He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing?
The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances.
I don't believe it.
Is it growing on you?
But I didn't do it, I swear! I'm not a murderer.
I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving you're innocent will be no easy task. You see, there are certain
peculiarities about today's trial.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Oh, yay! I'm glad it's really good now.
You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway.
But then what should I do?
Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction.
Right, so?
As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, "I do."
I do? But what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you?
Of course not.
Defendant! Court is about to begin! Please proceed to the courtroom at once!
Gay marriage? What do you mean, gay marriage?
It would seem our Oh, I do, yeah. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are about to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours.
What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! There's no point in anyone
Advocating for the likes of you anyway. That was hurting my throat.
This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma streams.
Streams? Yo, what up? It's me, Kazuma. I'm streaming on twitch.tv/DrewNosuke is guilty. I'm pretty sure your quote cute beefcake guy is like older than him. He's like a professor at the oops. I accidentally turned on my PS4. Oh no, I accidentally ejected a disc in my PS4. Shit. No, Gravity Rush, go back in. Dilf? Is that what happens when you mix a Dilf with Pepsi? Professor Id? Or ID? I think there's a Professor Id, like Id, in one of the games. Or maybe it might be Ego or something.
Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over, and what's more,
Oh, I see. Professor Ed, like...
I'll be found of guilty of murder.
And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. I'm gonna try to turn off my PS4.
My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my
Destiny.
So this is a courtroom.
The Supreme Court of Judicature. If I said that right. No court in the land has more power.
I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there.
The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial.
A secret trial?
A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend.
What? But why?
It'll become clear in time, but for now... You need to concentrate, Nosuke. It's about to begin. I would say, like, I don't know, 2 bits or something. But the thing, of course, is that I'm not affiliate, so I don't have, like, doubloons available. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. 2 pennies. Later.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to the trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Catboy Saul? But what if I don't want to put Catboy Saul on my stream? Okay, you know what? I'll make him really small. Okay. I have to... I'm saving him to my computer. He's being really tiny, though. He's going over here. Oh, no. Going right here. Okay, there you go. Oh, Saul Goodman because he's a lawyer. That didn't click until just now. Okay. There you go. There's your Saul Goodman. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do?
Obviously. I gotta protect Kazuma. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself!
You'll be...
What?
What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? I already shipped these two. The eye animation is really good.
Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose.
How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off.
No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you...
Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you.
Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in.
Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. I mean, I'm playing the video game, that's why I did it. So I wanted to play the video game.
Well, does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh! Yes, exactly! Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court,
Yeah, he's related to Phoenix.
you must have perpetuated a most heinous crime indeed.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes! Yes, Your Excellency!
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. Ah, yes.
My competence? What does that mean?
He's questioning your ability to do the job.
Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am.
So let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Oh, yes.
Oh, hi, Klaus. Yeah, I still haven't played it. I'm a fake Ace Attorney's fan. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait.
I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank?
You know me so well.
All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. They do this exact thing in fucking every game. This is the tutorial trial.
But I can't even find that.
It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of whatever button that is. I don't know what button. I don't think it's this. Is it? You know what I might need to do? I have a controller, but I don't think it knows I have a controller. Shit. Alright, I'll just use the computer. Oh, I just couldn't open it at that point. That was the issue. Yeah, I've been using the controller the whole time. That's why if you look, it's changed. Yee. Let me plug in my controller again. This is the list of evidence you've selected. Now, try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Yes, windows. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press Y to present. Try it now. Okay, that's not what Y is. This Y? Okay.
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
So this is... okay. I think that might be messed up. Do I have the wrong profile? No? Okay.
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And, as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. Yeah. In response to your no, yeah. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor?
Yeah. Me too. It also could be something that might not be a thing, like they made it up for this game. Which wouldn't surprise me either.
Ugh, but I didn't do it.
This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime.
So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it?
Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman.
Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going.
Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer.
Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. Because I need to do a voice! I'll try to make him sound less like a tween boy. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. So they're like definitely gay, right? Make him a cowboy? But I'm bad at that! You know I'm bad at that! I'll try. The British... The British Empire. No! I couldn't... The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. I'm glad this shame is showing on my VTuber model because I think I'm physically blushing right now. Okay, there's a reason. There's a reason the cowboy takes didn't make it in to the what was it, 98? The Outpost Bar and Grill for the Patreon. There's a reason my cowboy takes aren't in there. Okay.
The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait.
Pan.
I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So, I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson.
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency!
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Hold my... Did you clip that? Oh, thank you, Clone, for knowing history treaties. Did you clip me failing at accents? Betrayal. Open it? No, I'm streaming. I'll look later. I mean, it's useful information, Clone. Pectoral ballistic trauma. Funky. State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence.
By evidence? But how?
Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now.
Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it.
Oh, did we have a, bot? Hemorrhage.
Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report.
In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way.
Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet.
He's sleepy.
Around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion.
Also, I'm removing Saul now. I've had enough of Saul. That's your 2 pennies worth of Saul Goodman.
You can...
I already read that.
In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Okay, people seem upset, so I'll put him back. Okay. The kitty lives. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record.
So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before.
Hey guys, did you know this takes place in the past? Did you know? Oh no! The council! No! Council. H. Alright, It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Did you guys know that this takes place in the past? Because he's never seen a photo before, because it takes place in the past. Get it? Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case...
I don't know. I forgot to check. But clearly around the invention of photographs.
The prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
I have been to the future, and I don't want to scare you. Not only were you not there, I listened to Obi-Wan. Anyway.
This is it then.
I have not been paying attention to this. Hold on one second. What was the photograph? Alright, that he just got shot in the chest. Okay. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. Shit. Oh, wait, stop. My alarm. Oh, it's so quiet without the music. Alright. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotova? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant.
Ah, of course! When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial.
He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he?
Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma.
Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. I should get like some sort of like echo voice effect so whenever they're thinking, there's like a audio.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
Oh, I can't do that one. That was right in my throat. That was uncomfortable. The silly guy has a katana, yes. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Excuse me, but I have anime tuberculosis. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, Excuse me, I just am fatally ill. It's a regular occurrence, it really doesn't bother me. I just, am slowly dying. Well, it really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, in an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Perspiring maybe, but aspiring? Fucking, I know what I need. I need... Let's see. Did that play? Did you hear that? I'm gonna use that a lot for this game. I do need a soundboard. Like, I think the only thing I have is this one. Oops, that accidentally switched me to... Okay. Did that play, by the way? I don't know if I had the right... Okay, yeah, it played. That's the only one I have. I need to get others. Otherwise, but for today, I'm just gonna keep tabbing into YouTube to play the left track. It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. I need a voice for this guy that's a little different.
It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have a few diners at that time of day.
The thing is, I can't do accents, and I'm gonna be in so much trouble once, like, British people show up. Because they'll be canonically British, and they're not gonna have British accents, because it will be bad. How would I do that? It's just after 2 p.m., okay. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied.
That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place.
Don't do that. Yeah. I was gonna say, the only thing I could think would be doing an accent, which I can't do, and also that would be very uncomfortable. Yeah. Excuse me, just coughing up blood as I do. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. Bang. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Hold on, just let me clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
But... The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see and hear in court today.
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student.
Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table?
What's the matter, Ryunosuke?
That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table.
Really?
And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do?
Well, don't I get to cross-examine? This seems important. Fuck it.
Yes!
The wait-and-see ones are always the worst.
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day, I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the table.
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, the mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonoga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
I don't believe it.
Cross X? Oh. Yeah. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, did the wrong voice. Oh, well, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. You good, dude? You gotta help him out. He only has 3 MP3s for his cough noises. You gotta help him out. He's running out of space on his computer. Something clearly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. He only has 3 MP3s for his cough. His illness is so severe that he can only cough with 3 different noises. His mysterious anime tuberculosis.
So, the court has now heard a press of the case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem that we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court, but I must warn the defense if you are determined to pursue matters farther in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from your sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Oh, well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial's unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing to throw away that trust back in my face. Is that it? What? If the accused is, in fact, innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove... Then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. Oh. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is.
Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchi, please continue with the proceedings.
Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Ugh. Yeah, I like the animations. It looks a lot better than, why do I Dual Destinies?
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir! The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesanosa, reporting for duty, sir! Myself I employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation Nippon. Jingle physics. And conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Korekuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be at the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon. And not just unfrequently, converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see, although to be honest, that sergeant looks much more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir! It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir! This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Let me check the court record. Because I want to read these out. Kazuma Asogi, 23 years old. A second year at the Imperial Yume University. He's my best friend and, despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. Eugene Mikotoba, 42 years old. A medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and Kazuma's mentor. Taketsushi Aochi, 51 years old, the lead prosecutor in this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. John H. Wilson, 47 years old. The victim of this case, he was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. Satoru Hosonaga, 29 years old. The head waiter of the European-style restaurant La Carnival. He was serving there at the day of the incident. Iesanosa, 38 years old, an army sergeant of the Empire of Japan who witnessed the incidents. Curio Korekuta, the owner of Rasute, an antiques shop. Or is it Rasute? I'm not sure which it's supposed to be. An antiques shop situated on a street corner in the 2nd District. He is a witness to the incident. Okay.
Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir! Standing by, ready to report, sir! What was that noise?
Unsavory memories of a most acidic afternoon.
Witness testimony... What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regular beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's... It sounds like there's a child, a baby. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black-uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so you see, Sergeant Nocha actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second where the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! That wicked university cadet, sir! It sounds like a child. The cruel and unforgivable enemy.
What times we live in when an English...
What times? I'm trying to do like an old man voice, and I'm not great at it.
What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the bright, broad light of day. But this is ridiculous! I didn't shoot anyone.
Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Or are you a little lying bitch, Ryunosuke? Because you see, I am also a witness of your crime. That's right, I didn't leave after I said I did. I stayed around and I watched you as you pulled out your gun and shot the professor right in the face.
What? Kazuma? No! Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up...
Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. I mean, it really does sound like they have this guy, right? If someone just shows up and is just like, yeah, I saw him do it.
There he is?
Ryunosuke! You must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses.
Cross-examine? Do it now! As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony of the court has heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. I'm gonna do is like as deep as I can. Therefore, it is my... What in the name of the Emperor is this meaning of the outburst?
I am, I mean, the defense demands its right to cross-examination. Dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
Huh? How did he know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Look at Ryunosuke. Oh, I love him. The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Good.
Kazuma is so commanding.
Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. All right, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke.
But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination.
Isn't it obvious? You have to explode. You have to explode the witnesses. You have to blow them up until nothing remains. If you blow up the court, like in the beginning of Ace Attorney Dual Destinies on sale now, you'll win. That's the secret to being a good lawyer. Just kill all the witnesses. Oh, small bombs, yeah. Just small bombs. They eat the small bombs and then they go. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements.
How?
You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie.
Well, yes, but...
It's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence.
Right, evidence.
All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now, let's go, Ryunosuke! Don't let them beat you! Oh, he's my little meow meow! Did you see that? He tried to bang on the table, but he's not very good at it, so it made a pathetic noise, and then he looked at his hand all surprised. He's my little meow meow! I love him! Fish noodles were good, but... Oh, yeah, that does sound like a lot all at once. Maybe drink some water. He's my meow meow.
Alright then. It's all or nothing.
What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation... Okay, I'm not gonna read... I already voice acted this, so I'm gonna read it normally.
So, you're saying you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative! I saw you! Laughing, cackling, like a madman as you trained the barrel of the gun on the English civilian.
He's so bad at it. He's so bad at it. He just goes...
But that's impossible.
I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What's that, Private?
Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table.
And so, what if it was?
Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't, in fact, see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun.
And double arg! My sixth sense.
Sorry?
My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means... a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet! Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Well... It would seem this soldier is absolutely convinced he saw you do the deed.
This is not good.
Oh, I got a Steam achievement for pressing statement.
And it was all press again.
So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... Huh! I've had just enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in black uniform, Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel! You unloaded that firearm on that man, from behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great... There was that baby crying again. The great empire of Nippon! You disgust me. What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said. But I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind.
I wasn't paying attention to what I was reading, I was just reading it. Behind his back. Okay, yeah. That's wrong. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court, thrust it in the witness's face, and make him choke on it. And from the back, present the front.
Yes!
What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination, thrusting some photographic print at my mustache?
Inconsistency, sir! I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
I think this proves beyond a doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
Ah! This is so frustrating.
Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be any more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Just listening to the music for a second. 'Cause this one's a banger. Turn it up. Kazuma, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Iasanosa.
Yes, sir! What, sir?
The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir!
Yes!
But no, that just can't be! And why not, cadet? Because...
Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here.
Well, how do you explain it?
Ooh, there is a baby! What the fuck? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the why is there a baby? Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir.
What?
The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. The witness, Sergeant Iesa Nosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
Ugh, that's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Based Kazuma. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. Get it? Because it's an ace. Get it? Because he's an ace attorney. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there! He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either?
Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure?
Indeed! The Hoei era Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habit to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute.
In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you?
On that day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoei treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
I see.
That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
Did the fucking general just steal it? As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution.
Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Aochi? His name is fucking Ouchie. His name is like Ow, like Ouchie, like Owie. Because the other ones were the Payne family. So they had like Winston Payne. And there's another one. Like Winced in Pain. And this guy's Ouchie. And this is fucking Taketsuchi Ouchie. I don't know if there's a Japanese pun in any of the other names, but man, I'm pretty sure it's Ouchie, like ouch, because the other ones are all pain in the previous games.
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back.
Oh!
My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What?
He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
Ugh.
Very well. The court invites the witness to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out of your shoulder, I think. Affirmative, the newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Aido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Aido, tension! I see. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. He's just got a baby. The baby's gonna be out here the entire time now. Even if what I say wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man that was the young man in black. Not much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed. Alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out!
Yes!
Well, I didn't even get a chance to read that. Wait! That's nonsense! The judge said, these testimonies are certainly compelling. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies.
Ugh.
It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel?
Indeed. On the table on which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record.
The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that no one else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no farther room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor.
No, baby girl. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh.
The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it was almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young.
Yes!
You saw that. Yes, it may be true I was holding the gun at that at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor.
Well, obviously as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee, and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, bang, a gunshot rang in my ears. Huh, full of events beyond our control, life is.
Sorry? What do you mean?
In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only person present. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
As you may have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman.
Ah, if only there'd been more people dining there at the time.
and someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened, the quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I eat lunch at 2 p.m. a lot. But that's because I wake up at noon. Yeah. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Hota Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident.
So, the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Huh? Oh, well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Oh, well, there's no harm in it.
Yes!
He's meowing. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the witness's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights.
It's a most disturbing trend. Actually, fuck this guy. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. The victim's medical report. What we need right now is no clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you'd like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate the accused, Korekuta-san.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone.
That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Steak.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across from the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also stated that the victim was alone. That's right!
Precisely, in other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
But I...
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists...
Something's telling me that I should, like, save my game, right?
The prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time.
Did you not see the baby earlier, Courts? There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yeah, but I don't think it changes much. You're being silly, IRL. Aw. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes. This is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Yeah, use the stick. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. I love when I get to rotate by using left stick. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press A to investigate further. So, partner. He calls him his partner. I can't ship them. I have a feeling Kazuma's gonna die. I feel like he's gonna be Mia. He's gonna be the Mia of this game, I swear. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learnt by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use the sticks and A to inspect. Okay. Look, they've got little sprites. Oh, I love that. They're so cute. It looks like this medical report card was first issued some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Are you good? Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So, you don't like doctors, then? Why would you? They make you taste
drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injection. Spoilers? When I was talking about Mia, that's like 2 seconds into the first game. That's not a spoiler. He's meowing. Look at him. He's my little meow meow, just instantly. Instantly.
And then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege, all when you're at your lowest ebb.
Okay, that part's valid. The first part is... the first part is him meowing, the second part is him being... Yeah, but it's okay, because her sister's a spirit medium, so she can channel her ghost. Which happens a lot. You sound like a model patient, with a bad case of stubbornness no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Oh, it's switching around. I like to think they're just like, the two of them are having these silly exchanges in the middle of court, and they're just flipping around this card in their hands and everyone's watching them. Like, what the fuck are these two fucking gay dudes doing? It says Hota Clinic on this medical report card.
I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries.
Aren't they all the same?
When I was 5, I caught
The only cold I've ever had in my life. Jesus, what is this man's immune system?
And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life.
Most people would give their right arm to have only had one cold in their whole life. Would you say that they would give their right arm off at the shoulder? They would give their right, they would saw their, Mike Walters saw. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. I can't find any of... Okay, that's just... How do I, like, go inside it? Here we go. There we go. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just for the... I knew it was gonna be that he couldn't eat the steak. He couldn't eat the steak! Just before the incident. He'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief.
Yeah, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain.
Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure, until anesthesia effects have passed. Why was this dude going... Dude got surgery and then, like, 30 minutes later went to a restaurant.
Really?
Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. And then he got murdered. Bro had the horrible hungry, but he couldn't eat! Bro had the worst day.
With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes.
It's really like that. So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you?
Definitely.
Well, I think, what are you wittering, lad? You call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke, everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. God, they're... Look at that smile. They're... I can't do it. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Oh, don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right, and thanks for the advice. Korekuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up.
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel.
But...
Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered in the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
Ugh. But that's... Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial farther. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could have possibly...
He hit the table good! He did it! He did a good table slam. I love him. He's my meow meow. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that?
What? That outburst have petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be irrelevant?
Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report... I really fumbled that line. Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted?
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while the anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Korekuta-san.
What, boy? What?
As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was I keep fumbling his big and impressive lines. I'm sorry, my little meow meow. had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. I don't feel like screaming. Expertly done, partner. Calls him partner.
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
Dare you?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant's case have turned. Great one, Kazuma. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke?
Yes, most definitely.
So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel.
Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it?
Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. You might even call it, a turnabout trial. That's the Japanese name of the series. Got it! So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... Obviously, it could only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
There was, because I saw her! When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet, we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma,
are you insane? You would take on the government?
Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you.
What do you mean?
I have issue with them! Those two witnesses in the stand.
What?
What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the witness was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury! And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing.
Complicit in murder? No.
Hold it. Negative! There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders.
That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh.
What? What did you just say, Kurikuta-san?
Oh, no.
You were just following orders?
Now, hold on, lad. I was,
Say you never saw the gentlewoman. Gugh.
When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... You saw the victim with a lady from overseas.
What? What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair?
Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order! Order! Counsel, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut?
Oh, well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't! This can't be happening! Do you know, Scare? Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. Well, I don't know. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves that whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before. Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. Alright, well, I'm supposed to do that now.
Yeah, it's me.
My personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a Yume student at the university. You may not come in, they say. You may not come in. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere. But then I forget not to forget that. He's my meow meow. Me too, though. He's just like me, for real. The symbol of Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like this bike design, even though it really doesn't make any sense. Although, it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on their badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders. A sharp pin for a sharp mind or something? Nope, shit. No. This is why you didn't want to give it. Well, that's unexpected. What is... Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Oop, Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yeah. Business is
Business cards do tend to show the person's name, that's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. The OST is so good. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea, but let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they're wielding it somehow here. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing.
And what does the defense have to say about all of this,
Oh, well, Your Excellency. Ugh, no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witness is...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san.
Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier?
Poppycock! What possibly reason could the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony?
Having a prelude to the proceeding is, yeah, it's great. Not to mention the fact
That even a head waiter could not possibly have had that level of influence.
for once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were...
Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit the court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga's son's real identity, as proven by this evidence. Where is it? Here.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree, it shows a great deal of attention to detail. I'm probably gonna end the stream soon, but since I feel like we're getting close to the end of this. But I'm not sure we can conclude anything.
Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest.
I love him. I beg your pardon?
Or perhaps I should have said... the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is.
Would someone please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say?
My meow meow. He can slam the table, but you can't speak good.
He's just like me for real. Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene?
Well... Hold it! Inspector Hosonaga!
I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Here's flashback to when he was anxious about it. Yeah, that was like 2 hours ago. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So, you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter?
Ah, of course! Your salary must be terrible!
I was working undercover.
Undercover?
Yes. There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant lately. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant. What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the 2 witnesses beside you. That, at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency.
Unbelievable!
As I suspected. I can't believe it! Yeah, I can believe it. Bang. Why was there a bang? Oh, that was it. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders.
Special orders? You mean to say...
Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders.
But what if this Englishwoman was the killer?
I think it would be in everyone's best interests not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect... Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case.
But it's not right.
One possibility does spring to mind.
What do you mean, Kazuma?
Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman.
What?
You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty.
What is happening here?
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no further mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of the ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way. Except his anime tuberculosis. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Your Excellency!
Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. I think I'm gonna stop here, just because I'm getting kind of tired. My throat's starting to hurt. And there's a new Wobbucon out, and everyone's dipped to go scream about it. So I'm probably gonna go listen to it. Well, thanks to everyone who came out, and everyone who's stuck around. Hopefully I'll be playing more of this tomorrow. At least that's the plan. I forgot Saul was still on the screen. It's going away now. But, alright. That's it. See ya.